Every generation of people is different in important ways. How is your generation different from your parents' generation? Use specific reasons and examples to explain your answer. I'm a millennial and my parents are baby boomers. Although I was born in former Yugoslavia and now I live in Serbia, these two generations do not have the exactly same characteristics as their peers in the Western Hemisphere, but there are many similarities. Conflict between generations does exist, and that conflict is amplified because these two generations have grown up and lived in completely different surroundings and different political and economic climate. When my parents were growing up and coming of age, they knew exactly in which direction their life will go. After the secondary education, there was mandatory army service, only for men, after that university education, and after graduating, there was joining the ranks in some state-owned company, usually just after a few days after the graduation. They were getting a job only thanks to their own merits. They didn't have to write a CV, they didn't have to have connections and give bribe in order to get a job. They even didn't have to be members of the League of Communists of Yugoslavia in order to get a job. That was required later if they really wanted to be promoted at some really high position at some company. After getting an employment, there was marriage and raising kids, and their job was secured until the retirement. Unemployment rate was really low. Accordingly, they had little interest to learn new things after getting a job. My generation was growing up after Yugoslavia was dismantled. There was war, hyperinflation, and transition to capitalism. My generation is not responsible for all those atrocities. Conditions are a lot harder for my generation. Real unemployment rate in Serbia is around 35%. And if you want to get a job in the public sector, you have to be an activist of the ruling political party, or you can get it by means of nepotism. Also, some more loose connections may work, but then you will also have to give bribe. And you usually have to work about 3 years for that bribe. When it comes to private sector, connections and bribe are also often required, even for a job in a foreign multinational company. Explaining how all that works here will require a lot of time. And of course, baby boomers are responsible for all this, but they cynically fail to see that. They think my generation is lazy, irresponsible, and self-centered. Because of all previously mentioned, many of my friends are running away from Serbia. Currently, Serbia is the world's leader in brain drainage. So when we look at that data, it can be concluded that my generation is not lazy and irresponsible. It is natural that there are differences and conflicts between generations. That does not mean that one generation is significantly better than some other. We should all remember that when we are judging some other generations.